Hello and welcome back. It's Red Knight here, and it's time for a hotel build. Right now, you've all seen this hotel just situated across the road from my farm location. Well, guess what? I'm going to rip it down because I no longer wish to have this building sitting across the road. I'm going to move it to the town. Now, this was a big project. It meant hiring lots of little mini workers. They've come in here, they've gradually taken everything apart from the inside out, and they put everything back into storage. It took me a lot of trucks to actually carry everything over to the town area, and once I'd done that, then I could unpack everything and completely rebuild. Right now, I'm just joking. Right now, actually taking apart a hotel is much, much easier than building. As you can see here, I've got my finished design, and gradually what I'm doing here is just putting everything back into storage. And it's all done at the simple click of a button, basically. You just hold on the item, up comes the storage box, and you press that picture, and away it goes. So you do not lose anything that you have purchased already and that you might want to use for your hotel design. So don't worry about it. Now, as you're watching me rip it apart here, you'll notice that I'm taking away the decorations. Now, the decorations are probably the second most important part of any hotel design, because depending on how you have that layout is basically how you want to personalize the design. Now, the hotels in questions, everybody can copy these. Everybody can choose a very similar layout or design style based on the buildings. There's only so many patterns you can actually do. But it's this tweaking and adding in a little bit extra that makes it that bit more special. Now, what did I choose? Well, I chose white fences, I chose the white rose bushes, I chose some path trees, and a nice little rose arch, plus lapins as well. Now, they've all gone back into storage, or that's what I'm doing at the moment, and then later I will get them back out again. Once I've actually put these items into storage, then I will start ripping apart the actual building itself. Now, the main components for any of the hotel, you're going to need gazebos, and I have 3 of those in this design. You're going to need the wells, because the wells will actually give you the roof part of your design. And now, depending on which way you want to go, you could go with singles, doubles, or even triple roofs. And I've seen some wonderful designs using these roof pieces. Now, remember, with the wells, you can actually go for the standard plain ones that are quite cheap, or you can go with the new golden ones, which are very, very expensive and will cost a lot of diamonds. Now, I'm just a poor player at the moment. I don't have sufficient diamonds to purchase all of those golden wells, and at the moment in my gameplay, I'm afraid I won't be doing that. Basically, maybe in a couple of years when I have saved up enough diamonds and I've gradually bought these resources, I may have enough, but at the moment, the standard layout is perfect. And if anything, I kind of prefer the brown ones to the gold ones when it comes to some of these buildings. I think the gold ones are nice, but it's a little too much. Now, the second piece you're going to need here that's really important is the actual outhouses. They will give you the walls of the building. So the gazebos are the main element for the actual directions of the roof and the walls. Then the wells are your roof pieces. The outhouses are going to be your actually walls and the body of the hotel. So they are very, very important. Now, I'm almost done here ripping down the main legs that came off, and I've just got that last part of the building to take off. Now, actually, by itself, that does look kind of interesting, so maybe in the future I might just focus on doing some smaller designs that sit next to each other but are not connected. I wonder how that would look. Maybe having just 2 separate gazebos at the end with the roofs and the walls just joining the two. Some possibilities there. Now, the great thing about emptying this space here, it would allow me to do something else in this area. And in fact, my next project in this area is going to be moving the machines one at a time, and then gradually making a video where I introduce all of the machines from the different levels upwards, starting with the lowest level machine until I get to the highest level machine. And I will give you all of the information, but that's later. Now, if you would like me to design something or create something, let me know in the comments below, and I will try my hardest depending on resources. Right, now that space is empty, let's jump on over to the town, and bingo, here is a nice large area. Now, what I've been doing is gradually ripping everything down in my town as well. And I've moved all of my buildings to the top left-hand part of the town area. And I've created this large open space area just here. So what I'm going to have to do is to go to the shop, which I'm doing here, and then start adding all the pieces that I need for the main part of the building. And I will save most of the decorations till later. Now, I do like the shop area, but I would recommend getting used to knowing where the items are actually stored within the town itself. Sorry, within the shop itself. Because once you get used to knowing where these pieces are, it's easier to find. So what I'm looking at here is the voucher section. So this means that the wells, when you want to buy them, will cost vouchers. And if I remember rightly, it's going to cost you blue vouchers and green vouchers. Now, I'm quite lucky. Earlier on in the game, I used a lot of those vouchers that I'd actually got from some of the events, and basically I bought myself loads of wells. Now, at the moment, my stock is very, very low because I've been doing the fishing events, and basically I've now completed that event. I've got all of my threshold rewards, and I'm so looking forward to getting my 5 diamonds as well. And I was very happy with the rewards for each of the thresholds. They were very, very nice. Lots of expansion and mine materials. Yeah. Now, my friend actually got loads of gold lures as well for the final prize, and she was really happy with that. Now, I must admit, I would have liked the gold lures because it would have helped me in my fishing task, but not to worry, the expansion materials are just as good. And all of those pickaxes that I got for the last one will go very, very nicely should any mining task come up in the derby. Right, now I've got out some fountains. I've got out my rose arch. What else do I need to get from this section? Okay, there are some trees there as well. And then I think that's basically it from the vouchers side of the business. So put down some of those trees. Now do vary your trees. There are some really nice designs from both small and large. And I think a mix sometimes can actually make these hotels look really, really cool. Anything else in that area that I want? So, nope, let's go to the diamonds. Now, everything that I might get out now will cost you diamonds within the game. So, do I need anything? Let's scroll down and double check. Okay, now there are the golden wells and the golden outhouses. Just look at the cost of that. Now, I'm afraid I don't quite have as many diamonds, so I'm not going to be getting anything there. Jumping over to the coins, everything here will cost me coins. So all of those fence pieces I'm going to use and the stone pathways are coin related. So I'm quite happy about that because I have enough coins. This time I'm not going to use the wall, but I will use these lupins, and I need 3 of those. But I've got 4 in stock. I wonder how much they cost. Let's go and check. Okay, now my next one will cost me 109 gold coins. Now do remember, when you are buying these decorations, they don't always stay at the same price. Now the diamonds tend to, the vouchers tend to stay the same, but anything that's coin related usually increases in price when you start buying more and more and more. So if you're thinking, hey, I can get loads of these items and it won't cost me so much money, it doesn't quite work that way. The number or the coin value increases every time, and it can be quite expensive. So if you are going to build hotels and you do not have a lot of money, a lot of vouchers or a lot of diamonds, then basically you might want to keep your design very, very simple. If you have a lot of those items, then you can go for the more interesting and unusual designs. But even if you go for a small design, they can still look very, very nice, especially the towers. Now, this is a lot of outhouses. And just look at what's happening as I'm bringing them out. Do you notice that the roofs are angled differently? Now, this is quite a common feature within the game when you're taking things out. They will sometimes come at different angles, and you may think, I've got no space to turn it. Now, sometimes you don't need to worry about that because the space itself will allow you to turn. But as an example, if you're doing, say, like the berry bushes, you don't always have the space to turn, so that's fine. Just reject the item and then try to pull one out again, and sooner or later it will change its angle for you. Now, great thing about seeing these buildings like this, you actually get to see some interesting designs when the actual outhouses are angled from each other. And basically this will give you some really good thoughts, and you can then start to think, hey, why don't I angle the roof pieces as well when I put all of these bits together? Now that's what I'm going to do with this design. Right, now the key components here, as I said, are the gazebos, because without these gazebos you can't really create a hotel very, very well. So you're going to need to place those in the right position, and I'm going to be using 3, as I said. So I've got my main components, I've got my wells, I've got my fountains, I've got my outhouses, and my 3 gazebos. So I reckon I'm ready to start building. And I've hired the services of some strongmen. And hey, look, there's one of the first ones who's arrived on the scene. But does he have the power and the strength? Why don't you show me what you can lift up? And here he goes, showing off again with his weights. Right, now, when you are positioning the gazebos, do remember that you might want to put items behind them. So if you do butt them all the way up against the edge, you may find that you don't have the space behind the gazebos or the buildings for any of the decorations. So keep that in mind when you're actually laying out. Also as well, when you put these gazebos down, try to imagine how your hotel's going to look, because the actual designs are coming off at an angle and it creates a kind of 3D effect. So if it looks too ugly or too cramped, it's not going to be very, very nice. Also, if you haven't put it in the right position, you may find that you've got to take everything back down again just to relay it out. Now, I've got my gazebo in place and I'm starting to add the outhouses. So 2 different angles, and there go the water fountain. So 1, 2, 3, and I'm very, very satisfied with that. That's now going to give me the right amount for the actual roof pieces and for the wells and everything to go nicely together. Here you'll start to notice that I'm actually using the outhouses at different angles. Just look at that initial design there. I place the gazebos in a rough position so I can kind of get a feel for how I want them to be. Next go more of the outhouses and again some of the wells. Now, keeping these wells in the right position and then zooming out and looking around is very, very important, because the wells actually do make your roof. Now, sometimes you may want to go 2 or 3 deep, sometimes just the one like I'm doing here, but the choice is yours. Once you've actually got things in positions and then you start adding more of the fountains in again, this will then give you a better idea on how you want to put the walls. And this is where the outhouses are effective. So the outhouses do make your walls of your building. And as I said, changing the angle will give you some really nice designs. Look at that. Doesn't it look really nice? Now I'm making the first leg here, and already I'm starting to see the building take shape, and I really do like what I'm looking at. Now I could have gone short there and I could have come back off myself, but I'm quite happy to extend this one out a little bit further. Now maybe when I start to redesign my town completely again later, I may modify this building design in a separate video. And in fact, I'm already starting to think that way again. But for this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build this hotel up from the beginning again. Now, the actual assembly part of the hotel, if you do take the items out like I did all in one go, it's much, much easier sometimes. However, you are going to need space, and that means pushing them to the left or to the right or to the back, just to give you space to actually build the hotel. If you don't do this, then you will find that you're moving things around, then it kind of wastes time and it becomes a pain, and you feel very, very frustrated. Now, the great thing about the town when it comes to adding in these hotels, you do have the space once you've opened everything up. This could be the same as your farm. Create enough area, and again, you can come up with some really cool designs. Now, if you don't get everything out at the same time, then it's okay. You can keep going back in, getting an item out, positioning it. Then once you let it go, the shop will open again back to your last item. But if you actually place the item down and it says it can't be placed here, then basically it means the shop resets and you've then got to go back and find that item again. Now, a little bit frustrating. I do remember, I do wish sometimes that it would stay at the last item that I chose. It would certainly make it much, much easier. Now, it's doing that when I'm actually placing them in the right place, but not when I make a mistake. And it does reset, which is a little frustrating. In fact, you'll see that when I actually go through the video, because sometimes things are placed in the wrong place. Now I'm coming off with my second leg here, and basically I just had to move the gazebo into the right position. You'll see now that I'm using the wells for the roof part and the hotel starting to take shape. And once it actually starts to take shape, then you can say if you're satisfied or not satisfied. Maybe you want to make the hotel deeper and actually put in more outhouses and come down on your actual design. But the choice is yours. I'm quite happy with having the one story as I've got here. I think it looks quite nice the way it is. Now my strong man's still around, but I wish he'd stop showing off and I wish he'd lift a few more of those outhouses, because my back's killing me moving all of these buildings. And even the foreman has come to check and he's just walking around. Or is he the health and safety officer, I wonder? Now look at him there, he's going around and he's checking. I wonder if my building complies with town regulations. And it looks like he's off to speak to the strongman just to make sure. Yes, it's a very, very hot day. It looks like he was satisfied and he's walking away. But hey, young lady, this is a building site. You are not allowed here. I would suggest that you move and go away, because it's not okay for you to be by my hotel while I'm building. But then again, she is the landscape designer. So she's coming in now to actually look around and then decide how she's going to position the rose bushes later. Now you can create quite a nice imaginary story like I'm just doing here, because if you have got people moving around when you're creating a hotel like this, it kind of makes the game a little bit more interesting, because it feels like they're actually doing a job and coming and checking things out. And I kind of like that about the game. Now, I do wish that we had some more characters in the town area, but that may be later in the future. Right now, my hotel is finished. The building design is basically done, and I'm very, very satisfied. Now it comes down to the actual layout, and it means placing things in the right position that I'm very, very satisfied. Now, the actual trees I'm going to leave till a little bit later, because basically the trees will hide what I want to do. So I need to now start thinking about either the paving slabs or the rose bushes or the white fence posts. In fact, I may even change my design. But no, I will do that later. For this initial design, it will be exactly the same way as you saw in the opening part of this video. So what do I need first of all? Well, I need some fence posts and rose bushes. So what should I take? Okay, let's do the rose bushes. Rose bushes are done. And if I do say so, that looks quite nice. Now this is what my landscape artist was doing earlier. She was checking out the edges of the building just to see if this would look good. Now when I actually came up with my initial design, I did like the use of the white bushes. I thought they looked very, very nice. Now that's what I mean by resetting itself when you make a mistake. Now if it's not wrong, it will open up at exactly the same place as you last left it. But if you go wrong, then it goes back to the beginning. You need to scroll down. This is why you need to become very, very comfortable where the actual pieces are. Okay, right, I've jumped ahead. That's all done. And look at that. Doesn't it look good? Now, I'm actually tempted, I must admit, to not add anything else to this. But that will be later, I think, when I actually start redesigning my town a little bit more. Now, do you need to add the rose bushes to the back of the building? Now, actually, no, you don't. But you will notice that part of the rose bush does stick out. And the choice is yours if you wish to allow that. But at the end of the day, you don't have to. If it's hidden, it's out of sight. It's not going to be a problem if it's not showing. But then again, I'm a little bit on the fussy side, and sometimes I kind of like that feeling where I know there are bushes or something actually continuing on with the design. It gives it a kind of like a complete feel to it. Right, now I need to start adding in my fence posts. Now the fence posts are easy. You just add one down and you get a single post sitting there, and then you add another one and so forth. I also need to do my stone path. Now I chose to do the stone path here first of all because I think that's very, very important for allowing me the right distance between the bushes and where the fence needs to be. And I think I can now start adding the fences in. Let's think about that. Or should I continue down? No, let's do the fence post. And here we go. Right, now I've got the right distance and I'm very, very happy with that. And as you can see, my initial design that I created earlier is coming along very, very nicely. And doesn't it look good if I do say so myself? Now my question is, once I've actually finished this hotel, okay, you've got the final design. It's going to be exactly the same as the one that was on the farm. But because it's in my town, I will be rejigging it in another video. But how should I do it, I wonder? Should I leave the fence posts the way they are, or should I replace them with walls? Should I mix in different color rose bushes or change the pathway? How should I actually have the regular buildings within the town? Should I leave them up in the corner where they are at the moment? Because I must admit, it does look kind of nice there. Or should I move them around and put them to the bottom and the top ends of the hotel? Now, I don't really want to chop down the trees that are on my farm or dig up the actual water area because I like that and I think it looks really good. But it is going to be a challenge on how I decorate and set up the rest of my town area. And I'm going to have to think strongly about that over the next week or so as I rejig my final design. Right, now those fence posts are done and I've got a really cool design there. Let's add in my lamps just to give it a bit of light when it gets dark. One more. And that's it. Now I can start moving my trees over. Okay, and then the next one. Now this is what I mean by mixing the trees. Okay, just mixing the trees gives you an interesting design sometimes. Now the choice is yours on how you want to do it. You can go big or small. It's down to your individual taste. Now this is what I said about these hotels. The buildings tend to stay the same. It's the decorations around the outside. Now, as you can see, my hotel is now finished and that's it. And I'm really, really happy with this design. Everything's been moved from my farm to my town. Okay, I'm coming to the end of this video. You've seen the resources that are necessary. I hope you like this design and I hope you will copy it as well. Let me know if you've got any ones that you would like me to try out later and I will do so. Please do subscribe for more cool videos, and as you watch the rest of this video, you will start to notice some of the links for my social media groups that I belong to. You'll notice there is my Twitter, there's my Instagram, there's my Facebook and Pinterest. The only one I've not included is the YouTube link, because you're actually watching this on YouTube. So do subscribe, and then I will send you more videos as I make them. Okay, that's it from me. Good night, everybody. It's been a pleasure. See you all next time, and have a happy heyday.